All right, today we're going to unpack a really fascinating story from the world of ad tech. It's about a company called PubMatic that dropped an earnings report that, on the surface, looked kind of weak. But the market went wild for it. So let's dive in and figure out why a dip in revenue might actually be signaling a massive boom just around the corner. So right at the center of all this is this, well, it's a wild contradiction. You see it right here. On one side, PubMatic's full-year revenue actually went down by 3%. I mean, that's the kind of number that normally has investors running for the hills. But then on the other side, right after this news drops, their stock price jumped up by about 6%. So what gives? Sales are down, but the stock is up? Now that's the kind of puzzle we love to figure out. Exactly. What is really going on? How on earth did the company manage to spin these results as a win? And more importantly, why did Wall Street completely agree with them? Well, to get that, we have to look past that scary headline number and dig into the real story that's happening underneath. Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle is something the company was kind of cryptically calling the unnamed DSP problem. Now, for anyone who's not deep in the ad tech weeds, a DSP, or a demand-side platform, is just a big-time buyer of ad space. And in this case, one very large buyer was putting a serious squeeze on PubMatic's bottom line. And this slide right here, this is where the story gets really interesting. It shows you just how massive the impact of this one partner was. In the fourth quarter, PubMatic's reported revenue growth was a negative 6%. But, and this is the kicker, if you could just surgically remove the financial hit from that one partner, the rest of the business was actually growing at an incredible 18%. So hiding just beneath that negative headline was a much healthier, much stronger business. So, who was this mysterious partner causing all this drama? Well, as the source material so cheekily put it, cough, it was the trade desk. And if you know ad tech, you know they are one of the biggest, most powerful players in the entire game. Now, the problem wasn't personal, it was just business. It was strategic. The trade desk rolled out a new system called OpenPath, and it was designed to let them connect directly with online publishers. And in doing that, they effectively cut middlemen like PubMatic out of the loop on a lot of deals. This directly hammered PubMatic's revenue. But as we're about to see, being in that pressure cooker is exactly what forced them to make their next big move. And that big move is a massive all-in bet on what they see as the future of everything, Agentic AI. This brings us to the second and way more optimistic part of our story. This isn't just some new feature. It's a completely radical vision for how all of advertising is going to work. And this quote from PubMatic's CEO, Rajeev Goel, just perfectly captures the scale of their ambition. He put a very specific number on this future, predicting that by 2030, a full half of all digital ads will be run autonomously by AI agents. I mean, think about that. That is a massive claim, and they are basically betting the entire company on it. So what in the world is Agentic AI? Well, think of it less like a smart tool and more like an autonomous employee. It's like having an expert marketing strategist working for you 24/7. You don't give it a bunch of tiny instructions. You just give it a big, complex goal, like launch my new sneaker and get me the best possible return. And the AI agent independently plans, executes, and optimizes the entire thing. It's a huge leap forward, suggesting a future with way less human oversight. And this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea for the future. PubMatic has already run over 250 of these agent-led campaigns on its platform just since January. So the key takeaway here is this tech is already live, it's already working, and it's already bringing in new business for them right now. Now, this huge bet on AI isn't just happening in a vacuum. It's actually the star player in a really smart 5-point comeback plan, a plan designed specifically to fight back against the pressure from the trade desk and drive real long-term growth. Okay, so here's the playbook. First, diversify their partners so they are never, ever that reliant on just one company again. Second, grow their direct-to-buyer business, which is called Activate. Third, push hard into high-growth areas like connected TV. And hey, notice this? The last 2 points are all about AI, building new AI tools for their clients and using AI to make their own company run smarter. All right, it's a great plan on paper. We can all agree on that. But is it actually working? Let's take a look at the early results, because this is the stuff, these are the numbers that really got investors so excited. So how's the plan working out? Well, first up, that Activate direct-to-buyer business we talked about, it tripled in the fourth quarter. I mean, a 3x growth in a key strategic area, that is a huge win right out of the gate. And what about that red-hot connected TV market? Remember, that was point 3 on their plan? Well, they saw 50% year-over-year revenue growth there in Q4. This shows they're not just playing defense, they're aggressively going out and capturing market share in the biggest new growth areas. Now, let's pull it all together. When you bundle up their new emerging revenue streams, that's the AI stuff, Activate, and commerce media, that whole group grew by an incredible 75% in the fourth quarter. This is their future growth engine, and it is clearly firing on all cylinders. Now, to be fair, these new streams are still a pretty small piece of the whole pie, making up nearly 10% of total revenue right now. But what this chart really shows you is that this new, fast-growing, high-margin part of the business is quickly becoming a serious contributor. It proves the strategy isn't just talk, it's creating real value. And hey, remember that very first point of the plan, diversify away from the trade desk? Well, it is absolutely working. They've added 50 new DSP partners. Spending from their mid-market partners is up 30%. And in what is a very telling sign, Amazon is now one of their top 5 buyers. They are successfully de-risking their entire business model. And to top it all off, the CEO made it crystal clear they're just getting started. He said that AI revenue is already coming in from a double-digit percentage of their publishers, but then he said that number should be 100% eventually. That's the kind of language that signals to investors that the massive growth they're seeing right now, it's just the very, very beginning. So what this story really shows us is that sometimes a negative headline can hide a really powerful, positive trend. PubMatic took a major strategic blow from a partner and used that pressure, that crisis, as a catalyst to build a whole new AI-powered future. Which leaves all of us with the big question. Are they right? Will these autonomous AI agents really be running the entire ad world sooner than any of us think? It's a bold bet for sure, but the early signs suggest it just might pay off.